to the run of the race. Brittany Taylor and Mark Warwood with you to review everything that happened on Saturday afternoon from Belmont. It was Peninsula Mile Day and it was nice to see the old boy Touch of Silver getting up.
Certainly was. No Peters runners on the day.
Yeah.
Apprentices won 6 of the 9 races, including the first 5. So it was a peculiar day at Belmont Park. Certainly not what we were used to.
No, certainly wasn't. Very good for the young stock coming through though, and the day kicked off in style for Chloe Azzopardi. She rode the opening 2 winners. Let's take a look at the first one, and Nicodema at any old odds.
Caught out wide. Winnie's Wine's had a good run just off the speed, and Pike comes away from the inside now, goes up in the middle. Indian Chance out a little bit wider, and then came Mashimi, and back last of all the heavily backed Not Known, and would be 8 lengths away from the leader as they come around the home turn. Into the straight they run. The full quid just in front. Whole lot of shaking. Nicodema at massive odds has moved up on the outside. Getting an inside run is Chrisella, and down the outside is Winnie's Wine. Chrisella is after Nicodema, who's still got the lead though. It's Nicodema in front. On the outside, Winnie's Wine coming now. Nicodema has got the leader. Huge odds, and Nicodema blows the punters out of the water and wins.
Nicodema taking out the maiden, and I mean, someone had something on it about $71. It was 71 into 41, but I can't see too many people have seen that one coming, Mark.
Yeah, the rating out of this race was pretty bad as well. +10 according to Punting Form. If you're going to have maidens on Saturdays, you are going to have the occasional bad one, and this was certainly one of those. Looking at the file, I'm going to forgive Not Known. Started pretty awkwardly. It was the only debutant in the race. Fastest 4 to the 200 split, and was also well supported in the market as well. So forgive Not Known. Forgetting the full quid, led what was a very slow tempo, slowest sectionals as well, was supported in the markets, and maybe I'm just picking on the full quid here because of that, because there's plenty you can forget in this race. And a token suggestion is to follow Winnie's Wine in another race similar to this, fastest sectionals, but really just a token selection out of what was a horrible race.
I didn't think there would be too many you would be racing to get into that follow file off of the back of that figure. A race that you will want to follow in terms of a form race was the next one. This one taken out by Zephyr Queen.
The Bulldog, look out, is travelling okay, but it's still 12 off the leader. Nemiroff has got a big break to the turn. It's on the inside, look out, now being scrubbed, and Playing Marika's just about gone past it. Coming around the turn, Nemiroff with the leader 3, but Zephyr Queen's closing in. Samambo's right on the hindquarters of Zephyr Queen. Fairtrusive back to the inside, then Rock This Country, look out, and Playing Marika's down the centre from Murray. The Bulldog, Zephyr Queen, has quickly raced up to Nemiroff. Sir Mambo's the outside, and then came Fairtrusive, look out. In front, Zephyr Queen's doing it well. Sir Mambo's trying hard for Nemiroff and Fairtrusive, but Zephyr Queen does it easily. Zephyr Queen by 1 3/4, Sir Mambo. Nemiroff just held.
Really nice performance from Zephyr Queen. Chloe Azzopardi bringing up her opening double, and a good ride because Nemiroff out the front was setting a really strong tempo, -6 to the 600. That's 6 lengths better than benchmark, and she just took the camp off of that horse.
Yeah, I'm willing to forgive Nemiroff out of this race. He was pretty keen. He led by 4.1 lengths at the 600 pole, and he simply could not sustain that tempo. Look, he's a bit of a tear-away horse, but on that run, it is forgivable. Forgetting Fairtrusive, he was 13th in the Caracara, not the worst in this race by a long chalk, but goes around well under the odds, maybe because it ran in those type of 2-year-old races. And it was one for the battlers, wasn't it, Britt? Following Zephyr Queen here, PB by almost 2 lengths. It was her first run below 1,300 metres this preparation, and what was really impressive was it was the fastest last 200, and she led them up behind Nemiroff.
Yeah, nice performance there. The third race, this one was taken out by Amarillo Rose, and Brodie Kirby's had the right idea when it comes to these 3-year-old races. He was on Massimo last start, this start on Amarillo Rose, and he's been able to get the chocolates.
Who goes for it on the inside, and deeper out as Rubik Rose got caught out there, but presses forward for Pike. Shadow Shifter latches onto its back now, and they're being followed by Oristano travelling up strongly in the centre. Now Massimo gets to the outside. It's out 4 wide for McNaught, letting go with its run from Specialism. Well back as Blooms, and then came Royal Choiseur. The leader is Amarillo Rose by a length and a half. Oricino back to the inside. Oristano's back to the fence. Wide out Massimo trying hard, but doing it well is Amarillo Rose over the final stages. Massimo starting to work home on the outside, but Amarillo Rose is clear, and Amarillo Rose races home to win from Massimo and Oricino.
Amarillo Rose wins the third. Brodie Kirby said post-race he was probably more in favour of riding Massimo if he'd had the choice, but when you look at the figures you can see how Amarillo Rose won because she got it pretty cheaply in front.
Yeah, this was a very slowly run race. Didn't look like a great deal of pace on paper, and so it proved. Looking at the file, I'm willing to forgive Specialism. I think this horse is massively overrated, but it also almost got rid of Ryan Hill in the first few strides. Drifted enormously. Was $2.60 on Thursday morning, $7 on track, out to $9.50. I think that was probably the right price in the end. I'm forgetting Rubik Rose. That's a little bit rough on this horse because she did bleed, but she is overrated and very similar to Specialism in that regard. Another one that drifted on the day. The only horse I'd be interested in following out of this race is Massimo. I thought that Jay McNaught gave him absolutely no chance, being so far off Amarillo at the turn. Another couple of strides he wins, and he's the only follow horse you could think of back in next start.
Yeah, probably beaten by the barrier on that occasion, but no doubt follow Massimo. It is a horse with ability. The next race, Night Voyage, big weight, and he finally breaks through for a victory after running a lot of very close placings.
Rail and travels well, leads a half. Olga Louisa on the outside, just pulling a little bit is City Chan inside of Glasgow Gill, getting a nice run for Pike, and then came Akiko, Guns of Navarone, Rockefeller, Night Voyage, Imperial Venus, and Dawn Mission struggling at the back first up in the straight. ATM under a good hold, leads by a half. Olga Louisa goes up the outside, Glasgow Gill trying to join in, and just off them, Night Voyage is getting an inside run now. Olga Louisa's after ATM, who fights strongly. Glasgow Girl, Rockefeller's late, getting up on the inside though. Night Voyage, McNaught went bang, race to the lead from City Champ battling on, but Night Voyage comes away to beat City Champ.
Night Voyage winning there, taking the inside run along the rail, and with the big weight is able to get the job done.
Yeah, 62.5 kilos after the claim. Martin Allen after the race was, I suppose, having a bit of old pommy whinge, you'd say, about how high this horse is rated, but you know, he's got a rating of about 86 now, isn't eligible for graduation class moving forward. I think he's going to struggle to win another race, even though he does carry the weight very well. Doesn't make the file. The horses that do, Forgiving City Chan, finished second here, was pretty keen under Kirsty Bennett and also got held up in the straight, was well supported, 480 into 280. That's pretty brave money on a 3 kilo apprentice, it has to be said. Forgetting Glasgow Girl, overrated by the market. Started off at odds on, did get out to $2.40, but she has got some pretty plain punting form figures for a 73 rater. Plenty of horses you could sack here, but I'm picking on her. And I'll follow Olga Louisa. Token pick out of another bad race on Saturday, but looking at her ratings through punting form, I just think she needs a faster tempo, and she didn't get that on Saturday.
All right, Olga Louisa in Mark's follow file. The next race, this may be a horse you want to follow, Little Fish. Just always seems to elevate and was really tough in the finish.
Leads a half length, the Lofty Lad. Cognac forced to wait, race out 3 wide. Tracciato's getting a beautiful run for Chris Parnham. It's right on the back of Little Fish. Denim Pack goes through in the centre, and now the big chestnut Shinju to the outside is running on, followed by Turbo Power, Truly Belong, and Want to Be Good, desperate for a run in the straight. Little Fish, McNaught's about to go for it. It leads by a length and a quarter. Shinju the outside, battling on, coming through Tracciato now, and Want to Be Good down the outside as well. It's Little Fish. Here comes Want to Be Good. Tracciato in the middle. Little Fish fights hard. Want to Be Good. And on the outside coming hard. Want to Be Good after Little Fish, who kicks well though, and Little Fish.
Another good weight carrying effort by Little Fish. 60 kilos for a horse that isn't overly big. A really nice performance.
Interesting to see where they go with this horse next, because of course the Hannon's handicap is on Little Fish's home track. You get the impression from listening to Peter Fernie that he doesn't think the horse will be suited in that race, but I just think because of the Cal factor he may well end up going there. Doesn't make the file because of that, just the 2 horses in it. Willing to Forgive, Want to Be Good was too far off what was a pretty soft leader in Little Fish until well into the straight. Forgetting Truly Belong, beating a very long way. Plenty of forget horses in this race, but poor old Truly Belong takes the biscuit. And I will follow Want to Be Good, wins in another stride, fastest sectionals, including the fastest splits as well, from the 6 to the 4, the 4 to the 2, and the 2 to the winning post. Arguably should have won.
5 races down, 4 to go. We'll do that right after this.
Turning up for a picnic with chicken chunks? Ooh, orchies? Turning up for a picnic on a horse? Delightful! Life's better with horses. See you at the races.
Welcome back to the run of the race. 4 races left to review from Saturday afternoon's meeting from Belmont, and this next one was taken out by Regal Council, giving the Fernie team a race-to-race double. But in replay, just keep an eye on Trump This on the rail.
Side of out at attention, up to the turn. Spirit and Fire is a little bit erratic. It's got its mouth open, leading a half. To Harry Thomas. Unitime moved up for Kennedy 3 wide. Regal Council travels well on the inside. Lickety Split's done it tough, just dropped back, and then Express Flirt. Jockey looking to get to the outside. Kiora Star drove through in the middle, and Trump Fit This is following them through as well from out at attention. Inside the 250, Harry Thomas has raced to Spirit and Fire, but Regal Council got the inside run. Unitime's on the outside with Kiora Star, and then came Trump This. Regal Council got through, took the lead from Spirit and Fire. Trump This is flashing through it on the inside, but doing it well, Regal Council, and Regal Council has won from a very...
Regal Council winning there in what was a fast run race, minus 4 lengths. That's 4 lengths better than benchmark to the 600.
I think this is a decent race, certainly at the top end of it, because most of the horses finished in the first 5 were on speed, and they did go reasonably quick. So I think this will stack up. Forgiving Lickety Split here was wide, blundered from heels around 500 metres from home. Previous runs this campaign had been okay, so willing to forgive Saturday's effort. I am going to forget Kiora Star. Was a follow horse last start, but a bit like Harry Thomas that finished 4th in this race, he simply just doesn't win races, even though he's clearly got ability, and definitely following Trump This. Only first up runner in Saturday's race, fastest sectionals, does make it hard for himself with his racing pattern, but the bar plates came off for the first time on Saturday, and again, probably should have won.
And you absolutely couldn't miss it in replay. William Pike was just flying in those concluding stages, so certainly one to follow. The next race was the staying event of the day, and Justin Warwick's doing a wonderful job with his stayers, and in the end it was the stablemates fighting out the finish, and Spiritual Warrior got the nod.
Then My Fair Beauty, Royal Strata, and Backlasters plays the game as they come up towards a home turn. Around the bend, Jatumi just in front. The Warwick pair moving up stylishly. Spiritual Warrior is on the outside, and Radaru is joining it as well. Gunner goes ridden along out wider. He's a Parker. Paddy Shadow starting to come through in the middle, hitting the front. McNaught looking for the treble, and Spiritual Warrior has raced up and taken the lead. Radaru giving chase. Paddy Shadows into the clear as well. First Affair at the ready, weaving clear. Radaru has raced to Spiritual Warrior, who fights hard. Spiritual Warrior, Radaru, Spiritual Warrior, Radaru. They hit the line, and Spiritual Warrior.
Spiritual Warrior getting the better of stablemate Noir Daru, and I think the key to this race, it was genuinely run. So often we talk about these staying races not being genuine, but this one was.
Both the Warwick horses make the file here. I'm willing to forgive Noir Daru quite simply because ran into its frequent nemesis now. I think that's 3 defeats in a row to Spiritual Warrior, but a very good performance by Noir Daru. Forgetting plays the game. I think I've forgotten this horse a few times already, but the blinkers went on for the first time on Saturday, and it didn't make too much of a difference to the results, certainly. The rating went up a bit, but still finished 13th. Following Spiritual Warrior, the first issue free run for this horse since its PB of 7.2 back in July. He's now won 2 in a row, and the second fastest last 200, which was quite a feat considering he was on the speed.
And it's so far down in the weights that there's plenty of room for it to go as well in terms of the ratings. All right, let's have a look at the feature of the day. It was the Peninsula Mile, and it was taken out by the grey Touch of Silver.
And then came Friar S, taken wide, double digits at a bad spot, and No Saying It on the inside. Battle Talk is third last. Abdicator has got the front. Coming to the turn, Snow Chino with the big white face getting off the inside. Missile launches out 3 wide. Now Free Trade looms up as well. Kalur Bazaar still there. Then Touch of Silver, Taxigano to the outside in the straight. Snow Chino is after Abdicator, and joining in his Missile Launch on the outside, and Free Trade as well. Abdicator fights hard with Snow Chino. Missile Launch, now Free Trade joining in. Double digit out wide as well. Abdicator, Snow Chino, Free Trade, Touch of Silver. Snow Chino hits the front. Touch of Silver lunge, gets up, I think. Oh, it's close.
Touch of Silver taking out the Peninsula Mile for Adam Durant and Peter Hall, and they've gone nice tempo here. It's a nice figure, 6 lengths better than benchmark to the 600 Abdicator led.
Yeah, Hawley only had 1 ride for the day, so he came in, dropped his gear off, gone Touch of Silver, and got the job done. Doesn't make the file though, because he's going to go up in the weights from this. I know they're going to go towards the Goldfields, but you're going to think he's probably going to get stopped at some point. Forgiving Abdicator, 59.5 kilos. Chloe Azzopardi couldn't claim in the race because it was worth $100,000. Went a little bit too quick, you'd have to say, early, minus 6.1, and probably wants a little bit shorter as well than the 1650. I think 1400 metres in Abdicator would be very hard to beat. Forgetting Battle Talk, I know he's the face of Belmont, but he's back on the same mark as when he won on opening day at Belmont back in May, and he was very much well beaten on Saturday. Following Snow Chino out of this race was the best of the on-speed brigade, and I think she's slightly better than Free Trade. And if you look at the handicap ratings, they can't split them really when you take the allowances into effect. I think I'd rather back Snow Chino.
All right, there are Mark's files out of the feature of the day. The last race was over the same distance, the 1650. This one taken out by Witness in Court.
3.5, Misty Lad railing through. Around the outside, Bold Success is putting in now. Gage lost ground from Blackwood River. Witness in Court got held up on the inside from Astronomite as they come around the turn. Bow Count has got the lead, but here comes Bold Success with a booming run. Has gone right around the outside. Misty Lad the inside. Witness in Court is coming through as well. And then came Blackwood River. Bow Count in front. On the outside, Misty Lad. Also coming home, Witness in Court. Bold Success. Astronomite out wider. Bow Count, Misty Lad. On the outside, Witness in Court. Bold Success. Witness in Court, Misty Lad. Bow Count fights back. Astronomite flies. Witness in Court's got the front. Witness in Court has won.
A good effort by Witness in Court to take out the last race. Another one that was run at a pretty nice tempo.
Yeah, it certainly was. Minus 4.7 the leader to the 600. I don't think Witness in Court is the horse to follow out this race. I do think most of these have probably reached their mark. I'm willing to forgive Astronomite. Was wide, second fastest sectionals all the way home. Did it really tough, so willing to forgive Astronomite. Forgetting Early Explorer, the form certainly didn't warrant the early market support. Did drift on the day out to $9.50, but I think this horse is overrated, and I will follow Ravelli off to the breeding barn now. It'll be really interesting to see what she throws. Fastest sectionals in what was her final race, and wouldn't it have been a great story had she won for Sarah Brown?
It really would have been race named in recognition of what they were able to do in the Mongol Derby, but unfortunately Ravelli, although flashing home, wasn't quite able to get there. When we look at the meeting in its totality, who are our star performers?
Just the two horses really. Spiritual Warrior with the best overall and class rating of the day, and then looking at the sectionals, it was all about Night Voyage, the 2, the 4 and the 6. That's a very good effort considering he was carrying 62.5 kilos.
Certainly was. Very good effort with the horse carrying the weight that he was. We'll take a quick break, and on the other side we'll see how our tipsters fared, remembering that the opening race of the day was at big odds. We'll see if anyone found it.
Arriving for a hot date on a moped. Disappointing. Arriving for a hot date on a horse? Fantastic! Life's better with horses. See you at the races.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where it is time to look at how our tipsters fared on the weekend. And Mark, there were certainly, particularly early in the day, plenty of points up for grabs.
We had 7,000 points available 2 weeks ago, and then last week almost 5,000 points. So if you've been a long way down the ladder, you've had an opportunity to climb up it in the last fortnight. Nicodema won the first race at nearly $50. That was where you wanted to have your big bet, but there were some big price winners later in the day. Night Voyage, Touch of Silver and Witness in Court.
If you could find the winners on Saturday, I think your pockets would have been leaving the races very, very full. Who is our winner of the week?
Well, our PR Tipstar Meister, to use the German, is Suzanne Noblich. Congratulations, Susan. She is a long way down in the overall standings, 175th. She's got just over 4,000 points, but she got nearly 2,500 of those in round 14. She had a big bet on Touch of Silver. She also found Witness in Court, Night Voyage and Zephyr Queen. And Susan, if you've not seen the advertising already, we'd love to see you at Ascot Racecourse on the 19th of October for Oktoberfest.
Yes, I'm sure she will be there, especially after winning this week's Tipstar of the Week. Did anyone have Nicodema after the first round?
A fair few people had Nicodema, but no one put their big bet on it. Had they had put their big bet on it, they would have won the competition.
All right, let's take a look at our top 8 leaderboard. You mentioned Susan's a fair way down. How did our top 2, which are sort of fighting out this top place at the moment, how did they go? We have
flip-flopping leaders here. So Keatsy 11 has taken overall control of the competition. He leads by about 170 points from RB 86. Then there's a bit of a gap to Glenn Montague. It looks like the top 2 have got it between themselves, but there is still 5 rounds to go.
Sure is. Another opportunity to do it all again this weekend on Idyllic Prince Stakes Day. Let's take a look at the last 3 editions of the race.
First Among Equals taking a day to get there. Rock Magic's got them covered. Rock Magic stormed up now. He's got right to the outside and It's a Hymns making late ground. Rock Magic in front, coming back on the inside. First Among Equals from Akadasset, but Rock Magic will win the Idyllic Prince. Rock Magic beat home First Among Equals, Akadasset. Fourth It's a Hymns from Precision. Taken on by Just Act Natural. Battle Hero can't sprint with them. It'll be between It's It and Just Act Natural, and Mickey Two Toes 2 lengths behind them. It's It finding, but Just Act Natural again having another dip at him. It's It, he's a bulldog. He fights back, regains the lead, and It's It. It's It gets the money in the Idyllic Prince. Down on the inside, third, Rebel King. War God outside, Red Publisher. Prophet Street searching for a run back inside of them, and Pike releases the brakes on Man Booker, who's starting to surge. Further back behind them, the Celt. It's Rebel King getting up inside the stablemate by Decree. Man Booker, he's still coming. Rebel King knows the leader. It's Rebel King as Pike draws the whip. Man Booker trying to gut him down. Rebel King in front. Man Booker diving. Rebel King, I thought, might have just scrambled home.
There's the last 3 editions of the Idyllic Prince Stakes, a race that's very special to me and my family, named after our old Idyllic Prince, who was able to win the previously named Goodwood 4 years in a row. So huge effort from him, but great to look at those last 3 editions. Last year's, that brings back some memories. It was plagued with controversy.
It certainly was. I think the final race was delayed by about 3/4 of an hour. There was a protest, team riding allegations. Ultimately, the protest was dismissed and Rebel King won the race. And Idyllic Prince, has got something in common with Winx.
Well,
and that is that they both won the same race 4 years in a row. A remarkable achievement.
Well, I like hearing his name in the same sentence as hers. I'm not sure if I'd ever thought of it, but nice to see that they have something in common. Well, we look forward to this weekend's edition of the race. Hopefully it's trouble-free, unlike last year's protest. Hopefully we'll see you out at Belmont on Saturday, and if not, we'll see you in next week's episode of The Run of the Race.
He makes her bid for a little piece of history.